Let's jump into that first story. Breaking news. Court orders Jussie Smollett released from jail during his appeal after just 6 days in prison. Disgraced Empire actor Jussie Smollett will be released after serving just 6 days. Judges sided with his lawyers, who argued that he would be finished with his sentence before the appeals process was complete. He was sentenced to 150 days after being convicted of 5 felony counts of disorderly conduct for falsely reporting a racist and homophobic attack in 2019. Smollett could have served just 75 days with good behavior. He had been kept in psychiatric care in a restraint bed in the Cook County Jail. Yikes, man. So as many of you are probably aware, he started yelling, "I'm not suicidal," over and over again, which made many of us believe that he was. Mm-hmm. And we did mention this briefly on the show. We mentioned it last time a little bit. My view, and I think this is what you were saying, we agree, he was actually suicidal. And by saying he wasn't, he was hoping that people would think it was a conspiracy. Because I got to be honest, his life's over. It's been over. He's a joke.
Well, that's what I said on air a couple days ago when we first talked about the story. Granted, it's just speculation. We have no idea what his motives are, but it sounded to me like it was at least possible that this is something a person who's planning on killing themselves would say if they were a complete egomaniac who wanted people to think that there was some kind of conspiracy behind it.
No, there's something sociopathic about this guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you have someone that's able to literally like cry on demand and go into great detail about the entire hoax. And I think this is really tragic, this whole news story, right? Because it's setting an example. The whole point of punishing these people is to show society what happens when you do something like this. And so he gets out of jail now after 6 days. There's going to be a lot more hoaxes. And I think that might actually be deliberate on the left's part, right? Like they don't want these hoaxes to go away.
There was a tweet from, I think it was Matt Walsh, and he had a bunch of tweets from like him and Andy No, and he was basically saying that he couldn't, in almost every circumstance, these hate crimes where someone spray paints something, they turn out to be hoaxes. Mm-hmm. And then he shows this story in 4 parts, quote tweets from Andy No, him, and some other person. And, he says, I can't recall a single moment, it may have been Andy No said this, in recent memory of one of these turning out to be real. Someone responded with, "You should pay attention because this happened at Emory," and then posts a link. And then Andy No is like, the guy who did that was the guy who wrote the graffiti and the racial slurs was actually a black guy.
Yep.
So I got to be honest. Yeah, the only instance I can think of that was not a hoax was like some kids in New York used sidewalk chalk and made swastikas, and that was it. And it was like some little kids. So there was no real like direct attack on a store or a person. I'm like, no, I think that one was like actually, maybe I'm wrong about that. But there was that story I remember that was a former NFL player had a pizza shop and like a chicken shop. And then they were doing really bad. So he just ransacked them and then spray painted racial slurs. And then,
It happens. And the thing about these little kids, I remember in high school, my friends would prank me by drawing swastikas on my notebook. I'm not kidding. Like, it was like, yeah. And we had this whole thing of like,
edgy.
Oh, just turn it into windows, right? So like, little kids can't comprehend Nazism really. Like they don't understand the gravity of the Holocaust and how terrible it was. And so like they prank each other with that. And it's usually either a really terrible prank from someone that's super immature or a total hoax where someone's trying to get more attention or get away with fraud.
I think it's people just trying to get attention. How many churches have been vandalized? I mean, you've probably seen these stories, right?
Yeah, of course.
They'll put racial slurs in the parking lot, and then it was just like, it was someone from the church staging a hoax.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's disgusting stuff. I'm sure a couple of years ago, you guys remember there was this story at Mizzou, and within one of the bathroom stalls, someone had drawn a swastika using fecal matter. And we were told that this was a neo-Nazi attack instead of, first of all, extremely unbalanced, mentally ill person to draw anything with fecal matter. But somebody who's actually a Nazi is not going to depict their like sacred, cherished symbol with human crap.
Right.
But the conclusion, oh my goodness, this is a hate crime. It was very bizarre. Instead of like, wow, what a bizarre, disgusting thing to do, it was, this is white supremacy.
Yo, it's hard sometimes waking up and being like, oh, that's the news again. Mm-hmm. Because it keeps happening.
Yeah,
with these stories, and it's remarkable that, what really is just, it's kind of depressing. Jussie Smollett's being released. We thought we got him. We got him. He was arrested. He was caught. We knew it. He goes through trial. He is mocked and ridiculed. More evidence comes out. It seems like a clear-cut slam dunk case. finally convicted. Then we await sentencing, and we're like, please, just for once, lock one of these people up. And they're like, okay. And let him out 6 days later.
Well, what are you taking out? What are you offering odds on that he gets another another acting gig? Hollywood's going to take him back. I mean,
Yes.
I would
You think
take
so?
I would take 1-to-1 odds on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be shocked.
1-to-1 odds?
Yeah, or 1-to-1. I would take 1-to-1 odds that he gets some type of new TV deal or
Yes.
music. He'll come and repair his image. This is what they do. He'll have a whole apology tour, right? He'll come out and say he was sorry, he realized what he did and how bad it was, and then he starts making millions again.
It doesn't 1-to-1 mean that you'd put up money and win nothing if you were right?
No. I mean $1 for $1, right? So I plus 100. So
Is that what it is? That's 2-to-1 though, isn't it?
No. 2-to-1 is I put up $1, and if I win, you pay me $2.
Is that what it is? You
Yeah.
sure? Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
bet
I think
enough.
you're right.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't been to the casino in long enough. It's been actually a couple weeks. Yeah. So you think so? I kind of thought his career was over. I mean, he's a laughing stock, and
In a non-clown world, I think
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
over. But we live in
exactly.
clown world.
that's true.
Well, I mean, and also, so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Brian Peck, but he was convicted, I believe, of raping a child, and he was brought back to work at Disney after he served his sentence. So, oh no, I'm sorry. So yeah, ABC/Disney hires convicted child molester Brian Peck to work on children's TV show 1 year after he's released from prison. So the idea that they're above hiring Jussie Smollett is
Yeah, that's true.